Next come up is your main man, Brian Black. And on the phone with me right now is a talented actress who is most known for her roles in The Sopranos. She's also appeared on shows such as Law and Order, Power, Third Watch, and one of my all-time favorite films, A Bronx Tale. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the amazing actress, Kathrine Narducci. Yay!
Standing ovation, please.
Standing O. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention because, we have a huge New York following. And ladies and gentlemen, Kathrine is also a East Harlem native. So welcome.
Harlem in the house. Yeah. Yeah, and did you mention Sopranos too?
Oh, that was like the first thing I mentioned, yes.
Oh, okay. Want to make sure you're on your game.
Oh, well, thank you for keeping me on my toes. No doubt. So
really not Kathrine, it's your boss, and I'm making sure you're doing a good job. Now let me get Kathrine again. No, I'm only kidding. Here I am. Hi.
Hi. Kathrine, ladies and gentlemen, Kathrine will be starring alongside Forrest Whitaker who portrays African-American gangster Bumpy Johnson in the upcoming Godfather of Harlem. So again, Kathrine, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. And not for nothing, we're looking forward to seeing Godfather of Harlem. But can you tell us a little bit about the series that we're about to be blessed with?
It's about, Bumpy Johnson, Forrest Whitaker, is the godfather of Harlem. And he just comes out of Alcatraz, and he does 10 years in prison, and he comes home to Harlem to find out that it's basically not what he left. And he's not happy about it because he also finds out not only is Harlem in shambles, but it's also was taken over by the Genovese crime family, Vincent Gigante, who I play his wife, Olympia Gigante, and he's the Chin. He had his nickname, the Chin, Vinny the Chin, and he's an iconic New York mobster. And so he comes home to find out that Harlem has been taken over, and there's the logo. There's the hashtag now. He has a tagline, Harlem is mine. And, Vincent's like, no, Harlem is mine, and that's where the war begins between the two families. So it's West Harlem versus East Harlem, and West Harlem back in the 60s, and still is predominantly Afro-American. Now it's getting gentrified, but we don't want to talk about that right now. And
that's a whole other show.
Harlem, that's a whole other show. And then East Harlem, I have mixed emotions about that because I'm from Harlem. But East Harlem is predominantly Italian Americans and Spanish and Irish and Black, but mostly predominantly Italian back then, when the show was running in the 60s.
Right. Now, even though you've done other projects that were, for lack of a better term, about the mob or mob-related, growing up as you did in Harlem, in particular in that era, what was it like for you portraying this role? Did it have any special meaning to you or evoke any particular type of emotion?
That's a good question. And being born and raised in Harlem, like I was just saying, the characters, the men of the neighborhood, certain men, I'm very careful to the way I choose my words, were very, I like to use the word colorful, people who kept the neighborhood in check.
Right.
They kept a very safe neighborhood. And I feel Bumpy did that for Harlem. West Harlem. And although back in the 60s, New York was just crime-ridden. It was bad in the 60s. And Harlem was really, it was like, sort of like nobody wanted to be in Harlem up in the 60s. Now it's changed. Of course, everybody wants to be up there now, but it was rough.
Right.
It was rough. East and West Harlem. But there was a lot of love on top of all the crime and whatever else was going on. There was a lot of love. There was, somebody once said to me, the reason Harlem was great is because famina brings people together. And the famina is hunger. Hunger brings people together. And everybody was on the same page. And it was like you and your neighbor, like, what do you need? You okay this week? You need a stick of butter and a pound of spaghetti to get by?
Right.
You're broke? Everybody helped each other. And West Harlem was the same way, And I think that what everything that I lived and everything that I saw in my childhood, I'm bringing that to the Gigantes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing that to the Gigantes. And the women were by their husband's sides. They were mothers. They were homemakers. They were also tough. They knew the deal. And Olympia Gigante especially knows the deal. And she likes the deal. And that's why she chose Vincent. She knew the deal when she married him. And he could do no wrong in her eyes.
Right.
So...
Mm-hmm. Now, I was going to say, it's interesting. You said that she liked it.
She liked it.
What was it about it? Was it more of like in your estimation or in your research?
I think that Olympia Gigante gets a kick out of Vincent Gigante. She gets a kick out of him. He has many sides to him. He has a dark side, a moody side, a very religious side, and she gets him, and he gets her, and she stays out of his way, and she's in his way when he needs her. And she gets it, and she likes him, and he's a bigger-than-life character, and he's charismatic. Those guys are very charismatic. So
charming.
She's in love with that. And when you're born and raised in that neighborhood, that type of guy is equivalent to, in a more sophisticated neighborhood, meeting, a CEO of a company that's rich, can do whatever they want with the money they have. And these guys had money. They looked good, smelled good. They did everything they wanted. They treated the woman beautifully. They dressed them to the nines, gave them money to go shopping. What's not to like?
Right.
What's not to like? So
now
very alluring. Very alluring.
In the series, do we actually get into a little bit more about Olympia in terms of her experience? Because now, in just my little bit of research, I understand that, her husband had a whole other family on the side. Do we get to see more?
I think that might be in further seasons. They're not really going to show that in this season. But
gotcha.
There is a side to Olympia besides being a housewife. You're going to see in, I think it's episode 9 or 10, a character reveal and something that she does where you go, whoa, hold on. So this is who she is.
Right.
I think it's a big little character reveal, and I'm sure that Chris Brancato, being the smart writer that he is, and which I already had conversations with him about season 2.
Okay.
You're going to see a lot more of that side of Olympia, which I think is way more interesting than just being a typical housewife.
Right.
Serving pasta and meatballs.
Right.
There's nothing interesting about that unless it's in real life and they're really serving you real meatballs and spaghetti. Then you're happy.
Right.
But as an actress, you like the other side, the darker side, the more interesting side.
Right.
And Chris Brancato and the whole writing crew are very smart at that. They're really, 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 really good writers. So, I'm sure that you're going to see a lot of that.
So my next question would be just about the whole genre with regards to, mob stories, mob films, because in our culture, it's American culture, we love a good mob story, right? So why is it important to tell this story?
I think because this story parallels to today. It's a mirror of what's going on today still. With, the civil rights movement and, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about these things, but let me just see what I have in my notes here. I got to look at something. Do you mind holding a second? You can edit this, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is a spoiler-free interview, so I understand.
Like the opium epidemic today, right?
Right.
This is going on today. Mm-hmm. Kids are dropping like flies around the country, all over. And it's such an epidemic. It's heartbreaking. I know people who are going through this. It destroys families. It doesn't just destroy the person. And this is happening, a big thing in our show. You know, the opium, the drug life, the drugs, dealing with the drugs. And also, it's important because they tell a lot about the history of Harlem. And I think there's a lot of things that people don't know. Like, I find it interesting, Malcolm X, his relationship with Bumpy Johnson. Brilliant backstory that there's a lot that people don't know about, that they had this relationship. Very interesting. I just think that it's a very important show, and it's got a lot of life lessons in it, and it's just a very interesting show. It's very important. I think it's very important. It's very relevant today.
Right.
Every one of the storylines could be 2019.
Wow. Well, so that being said, when, and I know it's on Epix, so let me spoil everyone, it's on Epix. When can we finally see the show? When and what time?
This Sunday
it's at 10 p.m. this Sunday, and then
10 p.m. this Sunday,
and then 9 p.m. every.
You can live stream it. You can. There's so many ways to get it.
Yep.
Get the app. You can get the Epix app. And listen, this show is worth it. It's really, people are gonna love it. I think they're gonna become addicted to it. I think it has a lot of legs.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. And you trust me, and I love a good, strong, and I wanted to say this earlier to you, I love a good, strong female character. And it sounds like your character, Olympia, has a lot of teeth, a lot of legs, and a lot of layers. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from Olympia as this story in the series progresses.
Thank you. And all the women in this story, El Finesse, who plays Bumpy's, Mae Johnson, Lucy, Fry, who plays our daughter, the daughter, what's her name?
Gigante. Yeah.
Not Gigante's daughter, Bumpy's daughter.
Bumpy's daughter. I don't know.
Well, Bumpy's daughter is a very strong character in this series. The women are strong. Chris Brancato is also, he wrote Narcos. He created Narcos.
Right.
So you're talking about really good writers.
Right.
Chris Brancato and his partner Paul Eckstein, brilliant writers, great minds,
awesome,
telling great stories.
And Kathrine, before we get out of here, how can people out here find you on social media?
They can go to Kathrine Narducci on Instagram, just Kathrine. There's no E before the R. I mean, I'm on Facebook, just under my name.
Awesome. Well, Kathrine, thank you so much for the time. I wish we had more time, to be quite honest with you, but I appreciate it. I know the next come up appreciates your time, and we definitely look forward to watching Godfather of Harlem. Oh, and quick plug, The Irishman coming up. That's what
tomorrow
another
is the
conversation.
premiere. It's going to be, we'll make it quick because we don't have a lot of time. Tomorrow is the premiere of The Irishman. Beautiful movie, surrounded by greatness, master filmmaker, master actors. It's just a masterful film. That's all I can say. Go see it. It's going to be in the theaters November 1st, and then on Netflix November 27th. And let's not forget the music of this show, The Godfather of Harlem. It's Swiss Beats is the music producer. So you have contemporary hip-hop, and you also have the soulful 60s. And the way they combine it, these songs, he's another master with music. They help tell the story. You listen to the lyrics, and they push the storyline ahead. It's brilliant.
Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Next come up, America, the world. Give it up for Kathrine Narducci. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Have a great one.
Washington.
So much has changed in Harlem since you've been gone. I just knew you'll get right back into the swing of things.
I'm already back into the swing of things.
This is Bumpy Johnson. He's a legend. He took on Dutch Schultz back in the day.
I'm putting things back the way they were.
Times have changed.
I haven't.
Been a long time, Johnson. Welcome back.
Just because you come from Sugar Hill, don't think you can blame me.
I heard you got out, brother.
What is it you want from me, Mom?
I got something I want you to see. More heroin comes out of these project towers than any other place in Harlem.
Wasn't like this when I went away.
Shutting down drug corners is the nation's cause.
I got guns.
I got soldiers.
Bumpy Johnson, he's playing all of us.
Harlem is a tinderbox. It's about to explode.
You're gonna have a serious problem on your hands.
Is that a threat?
Hallelujah, I'm maneuver, I'm the driver and the shooter.
I can't control the streets without drugs.
Where will it end?
If you go after Shin, anything can happen.
I got my family to think about.
Yeah,
I want to get better.
I can't watch you do this to yourself.
you can lose your soul.
We have got a lot to lose.
What do we want?
You're a black supremacist, and I'm a white supremacist. We have more in common than you think.
Black man's angry, white man's scared.
You and me are gonna be at war till one of us is dead.
Every one of these men will die for what they believe. Are your men willing to do the same?
The minute the movement turns to violence, we are finished.
This is our war of independence. Harlem is mine.
We must fight a system of oppression. By whatever means necessary.
Times are changing.
Every man has a legacy, whether they want one or not. What is yours going to be?